Lauryn Hill and Rohan Marley's 20-year-old daughter. Now, I thought it important to bring this BOCHINCHE up because she went on her social media live and she talked about some trauma that she went through as a young girl. She talked about her mom's that she said were related to like her experiences with her mom beating her. She said was on some slavery shit. And then she said her dad was absent in her life. And now a few celebrities that I don't want to name, okay? But a few celebrities had responded to this young lady's allegations against her mom. Now, a lot of us felt that what Selah was saying in regards to her mother and spankings or beatings, quote unquote, because that's an old school word. If you were brought up in a certain household, like myself, I'm going to use me as an example. We didn't get spankings, we got beatings. That's just what it was called back in the day. We got an ass beat, we got beatings, right? So a lot of us know that word culturally, we know that word, okay? And some people know spankings, but I'm going to use the word beaten like she used. I know that word, right? And a lot of us were brought up that way. So many of us, my age, or with people 30 and up, are kind of like, well, that's the norm. That's how we were disciplined. That's how things went down. So getting a spanking or a beating is just part of the norm. That's part of you growing up, and that's the discipline. So a lot of people felt like, what's wrong with that? And again, as I have said in the past about spanking, how do you guys feel about the word spanking or beatings when it comes to our kids? Is it something that is necessary? Is it something that needs to go so hard? Now, listen, I'm one of those people that I was brought up with beatings, okay? And I'm going to be very honest here. I grew up with switches, belts, and extension cords, okay? It's a part of my life that I do not talk about, but those are ways that we were disciplined growing up. And for a lot of us, it was the norm, okay? Not to say that it was right, okay? Not to say that it was right, but it was the norm for a lot of us to get our discipline that way. And to be honest with you, as an adult and me becoming a mom myself, that is not how I wanted to discipline my daughter. Have I ever spanked my daughter? Absolutely. I used to spank her, put her over my knee with a little wooden spoon that I got out the kitchen and tap her little legs or tap her little behind, and that was it. I was not a strong disciplinarian like that. I did not beat my daughter with belts. I did not beat my daughter with extension cords. I did not beat my daughter with a belt. Those were not things that I did. Like I said, growing up, that was the norm. And for me, her speaking out about that, a lot of us can say, oh, that's something, it's not a big deal. But we cannot take away another person's experience. What may be traumatic for her, to us may not be. Like, shit, that's the norm. It is part of what it is. You got your ass beat. It is what it is. But we can't take away what someone else's experience is. And for her, that was a very traumatic experience. And we have to acknowledge that. And I think sometimes, I'm going to speak culturally because I'm a Black woman. I think culturally, sometimes we get into the mindset, oh, that's just what it is. That's how you discipline your kids. And now, you know, if I was to have a child now, would I even give my child a spanking? Probably not. I'm the parent that my kids will cry and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God, my baby. You know, Lazarus is definitely more of a disciplinarian than I am. You know, I'm now in a headspace that when it comes to children, I feel like having a conversation with your children are so important. And not to take away people that, you know, discipline their children with spankings, okay? I'm not taking away from that because I think there is a necessity to it sometimes. It's how we do it. It is how we do it. But I think it's more important for us as parents to understand that our children need conversation. There are times that you can have conversations with your children and they do something really bad and probably need their behind tore up over. that you could say, why did you do that? Let's have a conversation. Me and you're going to have a conversation, because this is not what you're allowed to do. This is not something I'm going to tolerate. And this is something you are going to be punished for. But I want to know why you did this. Because what you've done, you really hurt mommy and daddy's feelings. You are doing stuff that you know better. We have not taught you to do this. And when you learn to have those kind of conversations with your children learn to, believe it or not, and I'm telling you, this is the truth. When you have these conversations with your children grow up to not wanting to disappoint their parents. Because they come into this space of like, wow, I really hurt my mom, really hurt my dad behaving like this. I don't want to hurt my parents. My parents put time and effort into me, into loving me and talking to me and having conversations. You know, I was brought up with, I didn't have a lot of conversation with my parent. It was, this is the fucking rules. You abide by them. You don't obey. You get your ass beat. I'm using the language, okay? But even now, I realize that's not how I want to talk to my children. I don't want to talk to my kids like that. I want to be able to sit down and say to them, listen, as much as I'm going to get in your face about something, I'm going to also say, I love you. I appreciate you. I respect you. You are allowed to be angry. You are allowed to be upset within boundaries. And even sometimes we as children, we are brought up to not even have an attitude. I know you better fix your face. You better not be angry. You better not have an attitude. If you think about if that's ingrained in you as a child, as an adult, you learn to hold things in. You learn to not talk about things. You learn to suppress your emotions and your feelings. But if you teach your children how to be angry in a respectful way, your children could be angry, but you better not throw no toys. You better not talk back. You can be upset. Why are you upset? Oh, because this happened in school. This. Well, how's it making you feel? Why you feel like that? Well, get yourself together. Go wash your face. Take a time out. Have a minute. Okay? Tell mommy what's going on. Allow them to feel. Allow them to have conversation. Allow them to communicate. There's nothing making you less an adult, you less in control, than allowing your children to be children and having those feelings. Okay? Let me get to some of your comments. Brianna says a lot of black men are like that. Hold on. A lot of black men are like that now, closed off emotionally because they were told they can't have feelings. Absolutely. And a lot of men are taught that, man up. What are you showing you're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to this. Man up, man up, man up. You know, men are brought into this world, and I've always said this, I'm the pro-man woman. Men are brought into this world with so much on them already, with so many expectations, with so many rules. Men come in on this earth with, you can't do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this. And later in tonight's episode, I'm going to get into that more with the anxiety piece. Okay? KHD Studio says, this is why we have these great big walls. We started building them as children. Absolutely. And a lot of us don't realize how much